Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. And now, celebrating 15 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM or through WYADonline.com. We're glad you all could join us. Also, those tuning in through online affiliates around the world, including Conversations Radio Network. We're glad you all could join us as well. Michael Foster is with us for this segment to talk to us not only about his journey as a storyteller through film, but also his upcoming release called A Social Love Affair. If you guys are just not hearing about Michael or the film, we'll let you know how you can stay connected with both, as well as, of course, what's coming up next. Michael, hello to you, and welcome back to the program, man.
Hey, man, how's it been, man?
Hey, doing really good. Well, you're gearing up for the big release, not only, of course, of your film online for people to be able to see, but also the big premiere for you to be able to have there in Charlotte, North Carolina, Michael. I mean, how does it feel, man, to be able to be at this point now where people can see all the hard work you put into this?
Man, it feels great, Cyrus, especially with this project in particular, because we went into it. One of the goals was we wanted to put Charlotte in a great light in the mainstream, and then not just Charlotte, but how Charlotte from our perspective, Charlotte from a young black entrepreneur, young black professional's perspective. So we really feel like we were able to achieve that, man, and so to be able to have the theatrical premiere, here in Charlotte, this All-Star Week. It's just a great situation for the city and for everybody involved, man.
Right. Well, it is happening during All-Star Week, Michael, but definitely this is not something that just happened overnight. This was a journey for you. It was a process for you. How did the idea for A Social Love Affair come about?
Well, my partner and I, Cleve, it was definitely time to make a feature film. I had been traveling around the festival circuit nationally and internationally with short films and multiple short films, and then I got to a point to where I knew I wanted to do a feature film, and I had a feature script already written, so it was in the crime drama type genre, and then Cleveland was like, man, we need to do a love story. And at first I was like, oh, love story, because a lot of the love stories that we see, for me anyway, they're kind of, I don't know, they're kind of cheesy maybe or whatever. So he was like, no, not something like that, something like a Love Jones, and like a modern day era Love Jones. And I was like, wow, that's dope. And when he said that, and then so we went from there, and then it was like shortly after that when I was like in the whole social media aspect, like involving that part into it. And so, and from there, it was like once we figured that part out, the script just started flowing, man. And then we knew we had something at that point that was going to be relevant to today and relatable by people as well.
Right. So talk to us about the social media angle. I mean, how did that kind of play itself out in the actual project, Michael, as well as, of course, in the way you've been able to promote it?
Yeah, that was key. The biggest thing, we were like, man, the social media aspect, first and foremost, was to really show how social media has such an impact on our relationships this day and age. And so, and just the ins and outs of that, of how certain situations cause us to feel a certain way when it comes to social media, dealing with insecurities and just dealing with just all of some of the different issues that we see with that. So we definitely tackled a lot of different issues from that standpoint. And then on the marketing side, I was like, well, if this is a movie that is revolving around social media, like I said, my character Leo is literally, he's a social media specialist. So that's his profession. That's his, that's what he does. And so with everything revolving around social media, I was like, man, the perfect way to market this movie I feel like it's going to be through social media. And so that's definitely the steps that we've taken, even in promoting it thus far, especially the premiere in itself. Everything is for the most part, has been done on social media, and it's been a great response, because it kind of lets you know, like, you have these ideas, and then when you have these ideas and then you execute them, and you see them working the way you figured they would work, that's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah. Well, Michael, so let's talk about the ideas, because as you mentioned, even before this, you were working on other projects. You had other things that you were doing before you did A Social Love Affair. How did you get the courage to share your vision? Because there are a lot of people who are creatives out there, but they're so concerned about how something may be received, or if people are going to like it, and that stops them from doing anything with it. How did you get to a place that you were willing to take the risk and to bet on yourself?
Well, I think, like I mentioned in a prior interview, I've from early on, like, I was young, and I knew that God had gave me a gift of creativity. So I knew that early on. When I say early on, I knew, like, I started writing creatively probably around 11 years old. So, and watching how people would respond to the things that I wrote at such a young age, I knew that I had something. And so at that point, for me, it was all about, I was like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I get this gift of creativity out to the world, because I knew I had something special. I knew I had something that people, like, with how I approach my storytelling and things of that nature, I knew it was something that people needed to see and needed to get. And I realized, because it was, like, I started out writing, like I say, short stories, poems, lyric, like songs, things of that nature, and they had a sense of consciousness in them. So it was always something that was going to make people think. And so I've carried that on, and I know that in regards to, wanting to make people think, and then receiving that, I was like, well, I need to work as hard as I possibly can to make sure I can get this gift out to the world. So for me, I took that route, and then once I went to film school, at that point, it was a wrap for me. And then I knew, in regards to working on this project, like you said, really, there were times that I said I pushed all the chips to the middle of the table, and I bet on myself, because I felt like, I knew how to surround myself. I knew what my capabilities were, and then I knew how to surround myself with the proper people to be able to bring this whole vision to life, man. So, that's you. It's belief in yourself, man. You have to have like an undeniable, like, belief in yourself. That's where it starts, because until it gets in, because, man, you got to think that so many people, like, there's critics everywhere. Even like people that don't know what they're talking about, but they want to criticize you. So, and I've always been able to take constructive criticism and become better. So that's definitely one of the things that has always that's made me better in my craft. But then you have to get to a point to where, not that you shut out the criticism, but that you are, like, fully believing in what it is you're doing and who you are. When you get to that point, like, you will bet. Like, it's like you'll bet on yourself. And I feel like once you bet on yourself, and once you get to that point, it's high risk, high reward. So there you go.
Right. That's it. And I think that's it. And by doing that, Michael, you've been able to show other people what's possible. We'll get into that a bit. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Michael Foster to our program today. Michael and I actually literally just met, by the time you guys are hearing this conversation, less than 24 hours ago in person for the first time. But we've been following each other on social media for years, and so he's premiering his brand new project, A Social Love Affair, coming up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and for the world to be able to enjoy through his platform, Inner Elite. We'll remind you guys of that. So let's talk about the response, because not only are you getting response to the film, you're also getting response to the journey. How does that feel, Michael, to know that this journey is also inspiring and encouraging other people?
I think that's the thing right now. That's the thing that's really touching me the most, because people obviously they hadn't seen the film. They've seen the trailers, and they are definitely in love with the quality and the storyline that they've seen so far. But the journey is the people, the support that I have for the film, especially here in Charlotte, because these are people that some of these people like I've known over 20 years. So like I went to high school. It's going to be people that I went to high school with that's coming out to the premiere, and so they've been able to watch the journey, so they can look at, you know, from when I was back in high school doing TV production and producing the school TV show and doing skits and acting and directing and doing all that back then. They are looking at it like, man, you know, and like, Mike, we always knew, you know, they were like, yeah, Mike's doing the same thing now that he was doing back then. So to them, it's great for them to see me in a space to where it's like, wow, like, dude, we've been watching you for over 20 years, and this is where you're at now. And so,
right.
And so it's great to have those people around, because it does it for me. It's like, man, like, wow, like, this is really something that this journey that I've been on, this has been a journey that I've been on literally like my entire life. Like I was telling you yesterday when we met, I feel like everything has been leading up to this. I feel like everything in my career has been leading up to this moment. And so, yeah, that when I look at it like that, it's very humbling, and it's very, very inspiring, even for me, to have those people that have seen the whole journey, and they continuously remind me about, man, you know, you never gave up, man. Like, you always kept at it, man. And I'm just glad to still have those people in my life to where they saw the whole entire journey, and now we can all come out and celebrate together, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and not only are you producing a product in a film, Michael, you also have produced a platform. Talk to us about the Inner Elite, and not only, of course, how that is the place where people will be able to see it outside of Charlotte, but also about the idea for it and how it's going to be of use to other filmmakers.
Right. The Inner Elite, you know, it started. The Inner Elite actually started, was a vision that I had, and we actually had an online network some years ago to where we were streaming live, and we were, you know, streaming different events, comedy shows, or interviews with major artists and things like that back in the day. That was swaggertv.com. So the concept kind of was already there, but we just took that and wanted to really, really, really up the ante. And so the Inner Elite formed out of, you know, while I was traveling around networking and, you know, showcasing these films, I was meeting so many different people, but like filmmakers in general, and we would all just have these conversations. And I was like, wow, like there's a need for this, because you know, you have certain platforms like YouTube and Vimeo, but for filmmakers, if they're lucky enough to get into a film festival, okay, after that film festival, it's like, what next? And then there's so many different stipulations, like when you want to put your film in a film festival, well, it can't be online yet. So then it's like, if you can't have it online, then you're kind of missing views, and then so it's this whole thing. And I just was like, man, I felt like it'd be dope to have a situation to really have a platform that filmmakers could use as an alternative to just putting their stuff on YouTube. Like, we're not having people take their stuff off of YouTube. It's just providing an alternative to where, hey, we're going to highlight filmmakers across the world and, you know, showcase their work, let people know, you know, and show people this work and cross market, because, okay, like we've got filmmakers that may be out in Paris, and then we have filmmakers, content creators out in South Africa. So the thing is, all right, now, so if you come and the filmmaker from Paris, you know, they have their own audience as well that they're bringing. So now you have a situation to where if you're in Charlotte, if you're a filmmaker in Charlotte and you put your content on this platform, now you actually have access. Yeah, we know that, you have an international audience online, but it's like, no, now you literally have, okay, because this filmmaker over in Paris has brought his following in, now as a filmmaker you have access to other people's following as well. So we're just really cross-marketing everything so everybody can get to know everybody and everybody can get exposure into different markets. And so then what happens is now, you can take some of these, some of the filmmakers have older projects that might be old to them, but they will be brand new to the rest of the world. So those are the types of things that we're doing and we're focusing on. And we're really, that's really about to really, really take off. We've been working on everything to get it squared away from the standpoint of, this film. But after this film, you're really, really going to see it really grow and take off. We have a number of different content creators all around the world with awesome content, man, to show the world, man. So we're really, really excited about that.
So that is coming up, but in the meantime, people can expect to be able to see the current project, which is a social love affair through theinnerelite.com. Again, that's theinnerelite.com. For those joining us online, we will be sharing the link there. But for those in Charlotte, let them know, Michael, how they can be able to come in and watch the premiere.
Right, yeah. Eventbrite, if you go to Eventbrite, you can get the tickets online, and you search Eventbrite and you search a hashtag or social love affair, it should pop right up. And, you can get the tickets. The tickets, the general admission is $10, and then we have the after party. That's also going to be at Studio Movie Grill. That's $5. So, we're going to have the mixer. It's going to be a great situation. Doors open at 6. We have the red carpet. Paparazzi is going to be in the building. We're going to have a mixer. We're going to have the who's who of Charlotte, power players, tastemakers, and influencers all are going to be coming out. And then we'll go watch the movie. And then after that, we're going to celebrate. And then, we're going to go from there, man. And then just enjoy the rest of the night and enjoy the rest of the week.
Okay. So, again, theinnerelite.com, if you guys are not in the Charlotte area, is where you guys will be able to find it, as well as, of course, after the premiere as well. Michael, is that also the best place for them to stay connected with you?
Yes, you can stay the best possible way to stay connected to me, obviously through social media, my social media platforms. The MichaelFosterExperience.com is my official website. And from there, you can actually find all of my other social media platforms from Instagram, probably the best way, Instagram, Facebook, but you'll be able to access all of those different platforms in regards to staying in contact with me through the MichaelFosterExperience.com.
All right, man. Well, congratulations to you, Michael. Glad we had a chance to meet while I was in Charlotte, and looking forward to our next conversation together, man.
Yes, man. We can't make it 5 or 6 years to the next one, man. We got to shorten it up this next time, man. But I definitely appreciate you, Cyrus.
Hey, the pleasure is definitely all mine, man. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.